Most people fail Mdcat even after studying so hard. Why? Because it's not an ordinary exam, it's a competitive race. So, hi, I'm a first year med student, and today I will reveal exactly what I and my friends did to secure admission by the grace of Almighty Allah. So, how do you actually prepare? It's by learning from those who have been in your shoes the last year. And yeah, there is a special gift for those who are going to appear in coming Mdcat, which I think is the most important thing in an Mdcat aspirant journey. Let's begin. Now, when you start preparation, the first thing that comes into your mind is that whether I should join an online academy or physical academy, or should I join an academy or just prepare by myself at home? The honest answer to that will be just look at your study habits. If you could work at home, then online academy is highly suggested for you because it has a lot of merits, it has a lot of benefits over the physical academy. But if you cannot study at home, then you should not waste your precious time and join a physical academy. And if you want a deep dive into which academy, online, physical, or which academy, then you should watch a detailed video on our channel. Once you have figured that out, now it's time to make a rough schedule for the next 3 months. Usually the gap between the FSC exam and the MDCAT test is 3 months. So make a rough schedule. By rough schedule, I mean that you should plan or aim to complete your full course in the next 2 months, or at least to the first week of the last month. And then after that, you have to appear in full length papers and solve as much MCQ as you can. Once you have made your rough schedule for the next 3 months, the next step is to build a daily timetable and try to stick to it from day one. But here is something very important I want to say upfront. You won't follow your routine perfectly from day one, and that's completely okay. You might write down that you will start studying at 8 a.m. sharp, but realistically, some days you will start earlier and other days a bit later. And that now here's how my daily schedule looked during MDCAT preparation. I would usually wake up early in the morning for Fajr prayer, and I would have a first study session about 1 hour after the prayer, in which I would revise the hard topics and those topics which were, cramming points. And then I would go for usually for bio subject because there are a lot of points to cram. And then after that, I would have a break of about 1 hour for a light exercise, just brushing and breakfast. And after that, I would have study session of about 4 hours, and it was not that consecutive 4 hour study. I would take breaks, small breaks in it, but in that time I wouldn't come out of my study room, and it was usually from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And after that, I would take a break of about 3 hours to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. In order to lunch and take a small nap. Now, here's how my daily schedule looked during MDCAT preparation. I would usually wake up early in the morning for Fajr prayer, and I would have a first study session about 1 hour after the prayer, in which I would revise the hard topics and those topics which were, cramming points. And then I would go for usually for bio subject because there are a lot of points to cram. And then after that, I would have a break of about 1 hour for a light exercise, just brushing and breakfast. And after that, I would have study session of about 4 hours, and it was not that consecutive 4 hour study. I would take breaks, small breaks in it, but in that time I wouldn't come out of my study room. And it was usually from at am to 12 p.m. And after that I would take a break of about 3 hours to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. In order to lunch and take a small nap. And after that I would have an evening session of about 2 to 3 hours, usually from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and and then I would take a light break, I mean long break of my day from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. and in that I would do whatever I wanted to do. And after that I usually am to study for about an hour to 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. and then dinner, and I would try to do it as quick as possible and not waste much time on that, because usually I would take a lot time whenever I got up for the lunch or dinner or breakfast, and get back to study at around 9 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. and would study for about 2.5 hours. And after that I would aim to turn off the lights at around 10 p.m. but it usually went to around 11 p.m. Now, you would wonder that which resources should I use for different subjects. First of all, talking about biology. So, for every subject, your Front's textbook is the main thing, which you should have a clear and strong grip on it. And for biology, it is very much important. So, you should have read your textbook, your French textbook thoroughly, highlight important points, and make cheat sheets or summaries of each chapter on a single page of cramming points. And you should solve past papers. And for those subjects which are a bit tricky and conceptual, like that of inheritance, you should also practice MCQs from practice book of Keep Step, NGCon Academy, and MM Academy, or whatever. And if you have time, you should also go for a federal book, or you could just download the PDFs of short notes of the federal book and add extra points to your book. Just write it down on your book so that you could revise it when you are going for revision. Chemistry. So for this subject, you should also go for your textbook first, and if you have time, you should give a read to the Punjab textbook. And this subject, I would say, is not that much difficult. The first year is quite easy if you read the book and take lecture and then solve practice MCQ. And for most of the students, the organic chemistry is a kind of issue. So for that, you should read it again and again and make cheat sheets on which you should summarize all the reactions and all the conditions, and give it a read once a day, or as you study it, give it a read in 24 hours, and after 3 days, and after 7 days, and after 21 days, and then go on. Give it read again and again, then it will be very easy for you, because most of the time it's just cramming. And the books I personally used for practice MCQ was Champion book and that of Steps book. So you can also go for other academy books such as KIPS and NGCon, etc. But the main thing is that you should stick to one academy resources. Physics. Now, it will be the most easy subject for you if you just study from the start and study for it daily. Now, the resources I used were KP textbook and the lectures of Step Academy, which were concise and short. And for practicing MCQ, I used Genius practice book and a Step Academy practice book. And in lectures, you can also go for physics in second lectures, but they are too lengthy. If you have a good grip on physics, then you can go for a Step Keep NGCon Academy lectures, because the physics in second lectures are way too lengthy and too explanatory. Now, how do you study from it? First of all, you have to read your textbook and highlight the important points. Then take lecture, and for this subject, make your own notes, and this is must. Add points from your lecture and from your textbook. And also, leave empty spaces at the end of your notes. And for every such subject, leave empty spaces at the end of your notes. And add those MCQs which are difficult or those which you made wrong in the practice. And also add those MCQs which are important because it will give you a clue about the format of the MCQs of the test. And then whenever you revise it, just revise it from your notes and solve those MCQs which you have right at the end of your notes. English. Now, most of the people who study at home just ignore English, but I wouldn't recommend it because it can be a deciding factor in your score. For English, I by myself just took lectures of step and solved the daily chapter wise test and topic wise test of the step. And for the preposition, I used chemical grammar book and also watched some YouTube videos about subject verb agreement, which is an important topic. So for English, daily memorize 3-4 prepositions from chemical grammar book and give it at least 30 minutes a day. And whenever you do a topic, practice MCQs on that topic. Now the logical reasoning. It is the most easiest part of the test, but you should not ignore it. For this portion, you should practice MCQ from any practice book. And it will also be covered from the Sunday test or full-length papers that you are going to give at the last. The real reason I made this video is not because there are not enough Mdcat guides out there. There are plenty. But after mentoring just a few students, I realized something powerful. That many students work incredibly hard, yet still struggle. Not because they lack preparation, but because they lack clarity and direction and someone to believe in them. And I will tell you that most of my friends that are with me and they had succeeded had one thing in common. They had someone to guide them, a cousin, a sibling, or someone already in med school. That's exactly why we are launching a mentorship program. A gift for those amazing students who take action. If you are among the first 50 to sign up, it will be completely free for you and it will be more than just a mentorship program. Just click the link in the description, fill out the Google form and join the WhatsApp group. This could be the first step that could change your entire journey. And then after that, drop a comment below preparation started. After 4 months from now on, come back and tell me your success story because I believe you can. And lastly, do your best and leave the rest to Almighty Allah. Never doubt your efforts. We are rooting for you and we are waiting to welcome you into med school.